September here in Oregon. And for once, we're going to start talking about real talk. So you might know our channel from the Subaru, Mazda Miata, the Mazda-Roo project. I got the Jaguar with a Chevy 350 swap. A whole bunch of haters really did not like my comments on a Buy It or Bag It from a while ago. I have my Ford Mustang Mach-E that is literally right next to me. Gosh, we also have the 1981 Subaru, and we have the Mercedes Ute, the C43 AMG Ute. So you might know us from all of that, but today I want to have a little bit of real talk to talk about electric cars for just 1 second. I know some people have some very strong feelings about this. And we've had some government-backed programs for quite some time now to encourage people to look into electric vehicles, and that's been up and down for a little bit now. And I ended up buying an EV. It's my second EV in November, and I feel like I'm in one of those weird people that I love EVs, and I really love my gasoline-powered cars, and we kind of figure out what works for every single type of situation. But specifically, if you're looking to save money on maybe your boring daily driver so you have more funds for the fun cars, listen up to this. We're going to be talking about specifically here in Oregon, and also a couple of things from the federal government. So first, the federal government, and September 30th, it's going to come to an end that there were some incentives where the federal government would give you $4,000 as a tax credit. It's not a deduction, it's a tax credit. And if you bought a new EV, it's $7,500. And there are some stipulations specifically about the types of vehicles that you can get for both of those. And there's also some income caps, but honestly, they're really high about what that was what that was like. So for example, I bought my Mustang over here for a used EV. If it's $25,000 or below, the federal government will give you a $4,000 tax credit. So that's what I got for this car. So after all was said and done, and then I had someone bring it over here from Idaho, it was like $23,000 and put a couple of accessories on it. But 23 grand for 2021 that had 41,000 miles on it at the time. Now it's got like 50,000 miles on it. And that's just one example. It's $4,000 off. The dealerships like it is because most dealerships would take that off the price of the car right off the bat, rather than having to go and file for it later. So I just signed a piece of paper with my accountant that said, yes, I bought an EV. This is the EV that I have, still have it, etc. And if you buy a new EV, it's $7,500, which is quite a bit of money, up to like $80,000 is the price of the car, which is super high. So that's from the federal point of view, and that program is coming to an end September 30th. If you live here in the state of Oregon, I learned about this, in June, where the state of Oregon has two different programs, and one of them is actually coming to an end on September 8th. And that's called the standard EV rebate, where if you buy a new EV, and this is up for anybody in the state of Oregon, you have to drive the EV for like 24 months. You have to attest that you're going to be doing that. However, you get $7,500 off the price of the car. Now, not all dealerships are doing that. You might have to go and get that money sent to you from the state of Oregon after the fact, but you can combine that with the federal, which means that you can have $15,000 off a new EV. That's a lot of money. So sorry, that's if you take the federal, which is $7,500, and the standard, that's $10,000 off. However, they have what's called the Charge Ahead program. So that program is going to continue, even as of right now. It's going to continue for as long as needed. If you are within 400% of the federal poverty level, so to give you an idea, that's about $65,000 per year in your salary, and this could be either 2023 or 2024. If you're a single, filing single for a family of four, it's up to like $128,000, but it's based on a progressive schedule of that. If you buy a new EV, it's $7,500 off. So again, if it's that with the state of Oregon and the federal, it's $15,000 off the price of an EV. For used EV, it's $5,000. So what I've been noticing though is that if you qualify for the income side of things, that's the Oregon Drive Ahead program. That's different than the standard rebate. Standard rebate's coming to an end September 8th. And then the federal program is going to continue until September 30th. And then the state of Oregon program for the Charge Ahead program is going to continue. So, okay, so we got some people in the chat here. So someone's saying that thank goodness that the taxpayer money is getting cut off from the fools that want an EV. Daniel would love some more thoughts about that, because I'm not quite sure about how that is impacting the individual taxpayer. I have some thoughts on that, but of course would be glad to have your thoughts there in the comments. So if you think about this in a couple of different buckets, is if you get an EV that's less than $25,000, you can take $9,000 off the price of that if your income qualified for between the state and also between the federal, which is, I mean, that's a really good deal. But I was doing a little bit of math, and I was talking with a friend of mine from church where we figured out, wait a second, if the federal EV program, it's either $4,000 or 30% of the price of the car. So that means that at some point when the price of the car gets low enough, then that 4,000 going to start shrinking. But you still get the Charge Ahead program for $5,000. There has to be an amount of money that you figure out that the best bang for the buck. And we figured out it's like $13,000 to $14,000. So a friend of mine from church went and bought a 2018 Nissan Leaf, which is horrendously boring, but it had 35,000 miles on it. It has like a 150-mile range. It's because he's got a Toyota Tundra. And he's like, well, I love my Toyota Tundra, and it's only got like 130,000 miles on it. And I mean, I'm like, that's a million-mile truck right there. And he's like, I don't really want to go get another truck, and they're $50,000, $60,000 or whatever it is. But I'm like, how much is that going to cost you in gas? Because he just got a job where he's commuting a lot longer than he was. And he's like, well, it's going to cost me like $3,500 a year. So you end up getting this car after all of these incentives, and with the price of insurance and also the price he's saving in gas comparatively to EV, he's going to be able to pay the car back in 1 year. So he went ahead and bought it, and so far that's the car that they drive around in. And on top of that, it's far less maintenance to drive one of these cars. And the Nissan Leaf is, as a car guy, I'm like, this is not an exciting car whatsoever, but for a transportation appliance, it's curious. Let's just say it's curious. So, I mean, if you live in Oregon, that program is there, and that program is going to be available. If you're buying a new EV, the thing to keep in mind is the standard rebate. If you are not within the 400% of the federal poverty level, the standard EV rebate that's available for everyone is $2,500 for a new EV. That is coming to an end on September 8th. However, if you do meet within 400% of the federal poverty level, that $7,500 the state of Oregon will give to you is going to continue for really as long as they are going to have it in the state of Oregon. The reason why the $2,500 is going away is because there was a budget, and that budget and those funds have been exhausted. So that was something that was your government at work, I guess, shall we say. So all of that to say is, the other case study. Right now, another friend from church, I was chatting with them. They have a 2017 Chevy Tahoe that's having a couple of problems, and we were looking into, well, what they need a family car to replace their Tahoe. They don't need to tow anymore. They did at one point. And right now, Costco is running an absolutely silly deal where you can buy a Chevy EV, an Equinox, which is a fine car. Again, it's kind of boring, but it's a family SUV that has 319 miles on a charge, which is pretty dang good for an EV. And it's 0% interest for 60 months. And between the state and the federal, it's $15,000 off. And you get $1,250 of Costco money as well. So you're looking at a brand new car for like $21,000 with all the fees and everything included. That's a really good deal. EVs will depreciate quite a bit more. They're not for everyone, but if you're looking for a family car, I mean, you're financing $20,000. That car payment is not very much comparatively to just about every other car payment that's out there. The average car payment is still like around $700 a month, which is nuts. But if you're financing $20,000 rather than the average new car these days is more than double that. I believe it's still around $45,000. The average used car finance right now is like $26,000. So you're below both of those, and you're at 0% interest. It makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. There's always the people who are like, well, what if I want to go do this? And what if I want to go do that? And like the range anxiety, I was like, yeah, I get it. I understand it. I've had two electric vehicles. And the first one, I had pretty solid range anxiety because that battery is only rated at 80 miles from the factory. But I drove it, 26 miles a day, and it was great. And the battery technology in that one, and then the Mustang Mach-E, there was an article that just came out that so far there's someone that got interviewed, and they said that at 250,000 miles, their battery state of charge, it's called, is still at 92%. That means that it's lost 8% of its ability to hold a charge at 250,000 miles. There are a lot of parameters in there. Your mileage will vary, but that is a legitimate concern. But the battery technology is getting better, which is great. And again, I use that for my daily driver. My wife drives it most of the time. It's fun. It's fast. Besides a couple of Ford things and having to deal with the local Ford store here, it's been just dead solid. You push the button and you go and you drive. And because we are a multi-car family, it's not the car that we take for everything, but it's a car that we can use for most things. I've had to rely on a charger probably twice. In the last, gosh, we've already put like 13,000 miles on it. I've had to rely on a charger twice. And one of those times was a little bit of a pain in the butt, because public charging infrastructure, yeah, it's a little sus. But this one will talk to Tesla chargers. It'll talk to most of them, unless Tesla has Tesla only chargers. But it's great. So I know that some people have feelings about this, and there's a time and a place for the things like the incentives. I'm glad that I took advantage of this, and if you want to take advantage of the EV incentives, either in the state of Oregon or the federal government, there are a lot of parameters that you need to meet for things like income, usage, the car itself. There's a lot of parameters that need to be kept in mind, but there's a really good opportunity. And while it's here, love it or not, while it's here, the tax credit that you get, then yeah, that's going to be something that I would really recommend. So I'm going to get going with the rest of my day, but feel free to send us a message here, or thebadideasgarage@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. We're on all of them, and I have been coaching a lot of people through this. And I'm a car guy, and I'm a financial literacy volunteer. So my job is to help the right car, people find the right car for them. I don't say that you have to go buy an EV. I don't think that anyone should have to go drive an EV, but I think that there are a lot of people that could drive an EV and that would probably find that, wow, it's really helpful. But I don't think anyone should ever have to drive one. So those programs that say that you have to, no. But the government bribing people a little bit to be able to think about it, okay, well, that one could be up for debate. So I appreciate everyone for checking in here. We got some pretty cool content coming up. So I sold the supercharged Nissan truck because I couldn't get it to the point that I felt safe driving around my kids in it. So I sold it, and the guy is now tackling the who bought it, the power steering issues that it had. So I have a couple videos coming up of some suspension work that I did on it, like tie rods and stuff. In this car, this is my 2017 Mazda 3. I have a self-driving computer that I put into it that works way better than the Blue Cruise that's in my Mustang. So that one has a subscription that starts in November that's $50 a month, and I'm like, nope. So I'm going to put this thing called a Comma AI on it, so it's going to be able to drive itself. What else? The Subaru has been kind of laid up for a little bit because it needs some bushings and tie rod ends, and it's been leaking oil. So I will be getting to that at some point. The cool thing for anyone who's watching right now or watching this later is Chevy 350 just had the carburetor rebuilt in the Jaguar. So at some point that's going to come back to my house when it has brakes on it. And then the Ute, I haven't been driving the Ute very much because it's been consuming a lot of coolant. So that's actually getting a motor swap. So thanks to those who are watching right now, is that yesterday I bought an E55 AMG, a German market E55 AMG, which is pretty cool. And it's actually getting a motor swap in it that has 100,000 less miles on it than the motor that's currently in it. And my friend Andrew is going to go through all of it to make sure that it's all ready to go. So that should get me, gosh, the original motor had like 302 horsepower. And, I had 267,000 miles on it, so it probably did not have that. But this motor that's going into it, I don't actually know if the German spec one had more horsepower or less horsepower, but I want to say it was like 350 horsepower. So I'm getting a nice horsepower boost, and it's going to be, more reliable. And there's a bunch of other things he's going to go through. So I'm excited to get that car back as well. What else? And then the Mazda-Roo, I think that if you are following this channel, you know that I'm no longer doing the Mazda-Roo stuff. So that's probably going to get given to a local charity that's going to be working on it. So anyways, thanks everyone for paying attention to this lovely discussion about how, yes, you can be a car guy, and you can also like EVs at the same time. We'll catch you later.